Hello everyone, I'm Ami Pandey and welcome back to our channel again. Today we have Joseph Dolphin with us and we will be talking about his book. But before that, I just would like to give a very short round of introduction of Sir. So, Sir has it over 3 decades of global IT industry experience and he has mastered the science of delivering complex projects across retail, financial services, manufacturing, FMCG, and life sciences. He also holds a double PhD from IIT Ropar and NIFT Delhi with an MBA from FMS Delhi. Sir blends academic rigor with practical wisdom, having held leadership roles at different MNCs such as Siemens, Accenture, and Capgemini. And he's currently leading Mixtra.world, an award-winning edtech program. So, sir, welcome to today's session. We are really happy to have you. And I would like to also describe
Um,
about his book. That is what they still don't teach you in project management school. So the book has two parts. We will be talking about it. But first of all, sir, we are very, very happy to have you here with us.
yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So, sir, first, let's talk about the first part of the book that talks
Yeah.
about, you are talking here about earned value analysis, work package strategy, onshore and offshore delivery models, staffing pyramids, and the critical distinction between solution to sale and solution to deliver. So I would quickly like you to describe what are these terminologies in very short, so that all the people who are not very familiar
Yeah.
with it can also have an idea. I mean, what are the things?
Okay. All right. So, most of the project management training that is conducted, uh, talk about the art of project management and focuses very little or very less or nothing at all on the mathematics of project management. For example, if I were to ask a project manager how the project is doing right now, are we on track? Now, typically, what happens is that project manager would describe about how things are in terms of the scope, what are the challenges he's facing, and some indication on how the timelines look like and all that. So it'll be a monologue, so to speak, right, for 5 to 10 minutes or even more in certain cases. And then it is left to the leadership team who's listening to him to understand whether we are actually on track or what, is he trying to say something else, right? Because this is all qualitative assessment that is being made. Now, our programs are also like this. Our training programs are also focusing on the processes and things like that, but not talking about the mathematics. So, what is mathematics in project management? So, if I were to answer this question, which is how am I doing on the project? Is it on track? I can actually answer this question in 30 seconds. I can say my SPI is so much, my CPI is so much. So SPI indicates whether we are on schedule, and CPI indicates whether we are on budget or there is a budget overrun. So this is the mathematics of project management, which allows you to answer without any room for a doubt whether we are on track or not. So that is the focus and that is the terminologies which you see in the book on value analysis and so on, which talks about this mathematics.
Right. Uh, so, sir, at first, how did you think of the idea of writing this book? Because, we have different kind of medias available at this time when especially social media and everything. But why did you choose book as a medium to come, like, to reach out all the young minds who have been working in the management field?
Yeah. So, if you search on project management on Google, for example, right, you will get at least a million plus as a search, result.
Right.
And then within that, you need to then find out what you're looking for. So that itself,
Mhm.
and then you need to trust that what is being told or what are you reading or what you download is useful, because you still have to go through all that, right? And then
mm,
be very clear, is that the right way of doing it or not? Number one. Number
mm,
two, there is multiple body of knowledge which is required to deliver a project, which may
mm,
not be used all at the same time. So certain things you will use it in a particular project, certain things you may use in a certain other projects, or within the project itself across the period of 6 to 1 year, depending on the size and length of the project, you may use
mm,
this body of knowledge. So whenever you need information on, how to deliver a particular phase of the project or to manage different kind of projects, you will have to again go onto Google and social media and look for all this information, and still go through the pain of being sure whether you are looking at the right thing or not. That is why I thought, if we have a printed book, it's a ready reckoner which is there on your table. So as and when
mm.
you require, you go through the table of index and then quickly find what you're looking for, read it up. It's mentioned in very simple English with case studies and a lot of examples from the real world, so that you can quickly understand and connect whether this is applicable for my project or are there other alternatives. So that's the reason I thought, let me give them a book which they can keep on their desk and use it as and when they want.
Really pointed out. And sir, this book or like this thing can be also valuable for the all corporate firms and like employers. So, if they want to guide their employees.
Yes.
So, sir, let's talk about the part two of the book that is a little extended version of what the one is. So, like, why did you basically divided it into two parts? You didn't like just make it a singular one?
So when we talk about project management, especially IT project management, for example, we focus on the traditional project management methods on how to manage scope, how to manage risk, how to manage timelines, schedule, budgets, and all that. So
Mm,
that's usually what is expected from a project management training. But then when you
mm,
manage large programs, customers do not just expect you to deliver a project for you, but they also want you to bring in a skill set. For example, if I am a large
mm,
organization and I'm implementing a large software which cuts across all their businesses, cuts across all their geographic locations, multiple countries, and all that, then one of the key things which will decide the success of the project is whether the users will adopt it, whether they will use it the way it has to be used. Usually, what happens, people will resist change. They will say, whatever we were doing earlier is good enough. Why do I need to learn a new software and understand how to use it and things like that? Right. So,
mm,
this subject is referred to as change management, right? So how
mm,
to overcome the resistance users would have to a new technology, to new set of processes, new roles and responsibilities, and how do they slowly come out of this resistance, adapt it, and then become champions of this product. So this is one body of knowledge which is typically spoken about and delivered by management consulting people and not technology people. So
right.
technology folks, when they're delivering IT projects, they are not aware of this body of knowledge. Similarly, there are many such topics like benefits management and so on. So these are all
Mm,
management consulting topics, especially used in large and global projects. If you have that knowledge, you would be a complete project manager, not just focusing on processes, not just focusing on technology, but also looking at the finer aspect of how to manage the CEO office, how to manage the chief operating officer's office, how to, look at aspects around change management, resistance of people, and so on and so forth. So, book two is about management consulting, book of knowledge, and book one
mm,
is the traditional project management, to which we have added the mathematics to it.
right. Uh, so, sir, as we talk about the resistance in the people, in the working community, so over the years, we have also seen changes like IT, AI is replacing a lot of things in the industry. So, like as a professional who has been engaged for like several decades, so did you see any changes in the resistance of learning capabilities? Because I believe what I think is people used to be very, very resistant to learning very new things. But now that they have the fear of, AI replacing human work and anything, so they are more prone to learning and they have gained more curiosity these days. So, like, what were your observations in this scenario?
It's a very good question. You are absolutely right in your observation that today, because of the fragile environment, everyone understands the importance of learning and adapting to change. So you're absolutely
Mm,
right. Though the resistance definitely has come down, and technology is not something which is looked upon, as a separate entity which is coming into the organization, but it is
mm,
considered an integral part of how it will improve my productivity, how it will, make my life easier. So people are much more, attuned to adapting new technology and new processes and so on. However, having said that, large organizations, still may have that situation, as someone said, elephants cannot dance, right? So large
yes,
organization, when you implement a big transformation, sometimes it becomes very difficult for them to, have some of their senior people convince their teams to adapt to it very quickly. So sometimes it takes a lot of time for them to, adapt to new technology or new processes.
truly pointed out. Uh, so, sir, when you started your journey as a professional, what were the difficulties you faced in your early career? And if you would like to highlight on those, and how did you, tackle that or whatever came in your way? How did you manage that?
Yeah. So, one of the most important thing is when you are starting your career, you would have small assignments. So,
Mm,
since you have small assignments and small projects you may be delivering or small teams you would be managing, most people think I do not need to be very strong in project management. I need not be very
mm,
strong in process orientation of how projects are managed and delivered. They think it is very small, so I will take problems as and when it comes and I'll manage the show. Now, with
mm,
that attitude, what happens is, you may succeed, right? And if you succeed, it makes the things even worse when you grow in your career and you're managing medium sized and large projects. All those methods which you used in terms of sitting with people, trying to solve their problems, rolling up your sleeves and trying to get into the system yourself and work on it, all those methods will fail because some of your users are sitting in Germany, some are sitting in US, some of them are sitting in Italy. Many of them do not speak English too well, right? They are sitting on multiple time zones. So there is a lot of complexity that comes in, and suddenly the lack of using proper methods of project management in early part of your career impacts hugely when you are a senior or a middle management project manager, who has not followed processes, right? So to that extent, of course, the question was more about the challenges I have faced. So I
mm,
also went through the same, process of thinking like a consultant and not like a manager. And there have been instances where there were a lot of slippages. Fortunately, I had the right set of mentors, and probably, I was lucky enough that things fell in place, and the rigor was there from very early of my, start of my career. So this may not be the case for many of us. So I have seen leaders with 20, 25 years of experience, when they're suddenly given a global project, they completely fail because in their early part of their career, they have been actually managing projects as if it is an art. But project management is not just art, but it's also science. So the sooner you pick up science in the early part of your career with smaller projects, then practice will make you perfect and ready for managing larger projects.
definitely, sir. So, sir, when we talk about top business schools in India. So, like, what were the things like you have been working in like this field? So, what are few observations or things you may have occurred to you that they need to improve? Because when we say in the technology background, it's also lacking a lot of things like the courses and all the curriculum doesn't match with the global level things that have been going around. So, like in also business sector or management sector, do you see the academic institutions lacking something majorly?
Yeah. So, just like the body of knowledge which is available in the industry
Mm,
is similar to what is being taught also in B schools. And
mm,
so in B school, there is another problem is many of them may be freshers or very less years of experience, which means they may never have managed a project. They may never have even managed a team. They may have been consultants for 2, 3 years and then they decided to do an MBA. So what happens is, they may not understand what we are actually trying to communicate in terms of a project because they have never been part of project where they were making decisions or they had a role where they were managing teams or larger pieces of work. And that is a typical trend in most B schools, be it the tier 1 institute or the tier 2 institutes. So the students themselves do not have much exposure. Now, on top of it, if the subject of project management is being carried by people who are with many years in academia, what happens is they have lost touch with the industry and they do not have top of mind or relevant industry experience in giving proper examples from the real world, which is current. So if you are teaching in 2025, we are not picking examples which are there in, in 2019 or something like that, where most of the technologies may not have, been as strong as what we have today in terms of AI and so on. Right. So, two key issues. One is, of course, the same problem that mathematics or project management is not taught. Number
mm,
two, they do not simplify it in management schools because they are not from the industry. Most of the people who would be taking up these courses may not have industry experience to actually simplify it, connect it to the real world so that students are able to relate to it and understand, okay, so this is how it works when I deliver a project in IT, for example. So all this is missing. So what happens is just another subject like an economics or like marketing, which is crammed and an exam given and then you're out of it, right? And it's you forget about it because you really did not get that real world feeling when you were in that classroom. So there is a tendency is it becomes very theoretical and you may not demonstrate any of those skills if I were to interview a B school student for a campus interview.
right. Uh, so, sir, you have really described, I mean, everything we try to cover. And I also have very limited knowledge in this field, but also I hope I could ask you relevant questions related to this subject. And I believe this book is going to be really, really helpful for all the people out there management. And I suggest if any one of them is watching the video right now, you can definitely go and check this book on our website or Amazon. There are like multiple platforms where you can find out this book. So, would you like to say anything to the readers?
Or a delivery manager or a project manager managing global projects, you are used to use these processes. Therefore, you would actually apply them where it is actually needed, in global projects, and then you would succeed.
Maybe. So thank you so much for being here with us today. I think this was really insightful discussion. Those who were with us during entire conversation, I hope we could deliver something very, very meaningful. And if you have really felt interested in the entire conversation, you can definitely go and check the book out. And, we will come again with another author. And sir, we wish you a lot of wishes for this book. I hope you get all the success as a writer. And thank you so much for this conversation.
Thanks so much.